Plus, I think Saturday looking like the better day of the weekend. Charlie and Naga.
Sarah, thank you. We're going to whisk straight away to see what that weather's looking like on the West Sussex coast this morning. Look at that. It's a beautiful scene this morning, as described by Sarah. It is a really lovely morning. Maybe quite a few places in the UK experiencing that. But the question mark is, and I'm looking closely at that picture, do you see any litter? Because it's one of those days when there are volunteers out and Luxmy, Gopal is there. Shoreham-by-Sea we are, Luxmy, and I'm looking around. It looks pretty tidy, but I know there are real problems with litter on beaches.
Good morning, Charlie. Yes, we've had a beautiful sunrise and we are at beautiful Shoreham Beach. And as you mentioned, on the surface, on the face of it, it looks pretty clean. When I, arrived here, I was like, oh, this is just another example of our stunning beaches. However, if you look beyond that, there is actually a bit of litter here. And it is something that plagues a lot of the beaches on our coastline. And today is the start of the Great British Beach Clean. And if you have a look, not only is it a beautiful day to be at the beach, it's a beautiful day to clean up the beach. Now we can talk to Lizzie Pryor. Lizzie is the Beach Watch Officer for Marine Conservation, the Marine Conservation Society. So Lizzie, it does look pretty clean, but you and some of your volunteers have already been here this morning and found bits of litter, haven't you?
Yeah, when you look closer, it's surprising how much you can find. So yeah, just in a few minutes we were finding drinks cans, and this plank of wood got washed up. And then McDonald's wrappers and things that people left behind, enjoying the coastline, but unfortunately leaving their litter behind.
And in terms of the amount of litter, just give us an idea of how bad the problem is.
Yeah, so even though it looks quite clean, we can still find hundreds and hundreds of thousands of litter items. Last year for the Great British Beach Clean we found over 150,000 litter items just in around the UK with thousands of kilos of litter. So it's still a real problem, and when you really look down you start to see the problem, and it's the small bits that are still really harmful to our marine environment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lizzie. And it's also a new type of litter that has been a bit of an issue since the pandemic started, as you can see if you take a look.
Take a stroll along any beach in Britain and you're likely to come across litter. Plastic bottles, food wrappers, pieces of fishing net. And since the pandemic, there's a new type of trash blighting the coastline: personal protective equipment. Gloves, masks and wipes were among the 150,000 pieces of litter, filling more than 600 bin bags, collected by volunteers at the Great British Beach Clean last year. The Marine Conservation Society says discarded PPE cropped up on a third of the beaches they cleaned. Now the volunteers are back at more than 400 beaches, and once again they'll be recording what they find. Last year it was 425 items of litter per 100 metres of beach. There is some good news. Since the end of free plastic carrier bags in many shops, there's been a 55% drop in bags found on UK beaches. Now, the Marine Conservation Society hopes the litter it collects and the data will help to build a case for more practical steps to keeping Britain's beaches beautiful.
So you can get a sense of the scale of the issue there, and that's why having volunteers out helping to keep the beaches clean is so important. Let's go and speak to Cameron now. Cameron, you've come along today to volunteer to clean, and this isn't the first time you've done it. Why is it so important for you to turn up and to clean like this?
I think because it seems to be a problem where it's washing in, it's interrupting the local wildlife. I'm lucky enough to live locally, and so it's really important to me, and also it's a really important message for my children as well, to get them to see that we can all get involved and help sort the problem out.
Cameron, thank you. And yes, you mentioned children joining in. We've got a couple of children who've come along before school to help out with the cleaning. So we've got young Sarah over there. Thank you for helping to join the clean, Sarah. And Rachel, Sarah's mum. Tell me a bit about some of the litter you found today, just on this clean.
So just now we found a bit of rope and fishing line, as well as a crayon, and bottle tops. We found lots of bottle tops and things like that.
And how surprising do you find it that this is still an issue? You know, the message of take your litter home with you isn't exactly a new message or a complicated message, but it's still happening.
It's still an issue, and it is quite a big issue, especially with things that can easily be taken home. They're brought down to the beach, so it doesn't seem that difficult that people can actually take them home with them. So hopefully people will start to get an idea and really help, and especially with things like this.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. And well, as you can see, lots of people taking it to heart and helping clean up this beach here.
Well, it's absolutely important because looking at those gorgeous views, Luxmy, thank you. Why wouldn't you want to protect that and keep it beautiful?
Does look stunning down there, doesn't it? So it's time now to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are.